So I gave Claude access to my YouTube analytics, and the results were pretty mind-blowing. And so before we dive into all the cool stuff you can actually do with Claude and VidIQ connection, let me first explain what happens when you connect Claude to your VidIQ. So Claude connects to VidIQ through what we call an MCP. MCP simply stands for Model Context Protocol. And so whenever you make such a connection, what you do is you give Claude a direct line into your account. And so you can go into the account, access all the data you have in there, make decisions from it, helps you with competitor research, help you with content planning, and so much more. And so basically, you can do all these things without ever having to leave Claude or jumping in between platforms, because Claude can do everything you would have done in there. But this time, the differentiator is you do it all from within Claude. So without much saying, let's dive in and see how I got my benefits. So let's first dive into the PC to see how we can actually connect Claude and VidIQ, how we can actually make the connection. So what you want to do is go onto vidiq.com / Claude, vidiq.com / Claude. So this will bring you into this page. Scroll down and you're going to see the URL for the MCP right here. So what you want to do is you want to copy this URL, go back into Claude, all right? So you go back into Claude, you click over here on your name, and then you click on settings. So once you are in settings, what you want to do is make sure you go straight into connectors. All right. Once you get into connectors, scroll down to the bottom, and now what we want to do is add a custom connector. All right. So when we click on this, you want to give it a name. However, please do not give it a generic name. Give it a name so you can identify it. I've actually made this connection already, so you could call this vidIQ Claude connection or whatever, but then it should be a name that you can actually remember, so whenever you want to reference it, you can actually reference it by the name. All right. So you give it a name over here, and then the remote MCP. This is where you put the URL just like so. And all you have to do is click on add. The moment you click on add, you would just have to give it permissions, and that's it. Easy peasy. The connection is actually done. So now that we know how to connect Claude and vidIQ, let's see what we can actually do with it. All right, so now that we have all this out of the way, let us dive into the fun yet productive part. Now, the very first thing you can do with this connection is what we call competitor intelligence or competitor research. From my own experience as a marketer, I can tell you this is the most difficult part of the whole journey, understanding who your competitor is. But with this connection, we can simply do this by prompting Claude to take a look at our channel and come up with our top competitors. Let me show you what I mean by this. So now I have the prompt that I'm going to show you. I already have the prompt copied. Don't worry, there's no need for you to write anything down. All the prompts that I'll be using here will be given out to you for free, no strings attached. All right. So this is the prompt I pasted in. So I said, use vidIQ. That is very important because you always need to give context. Like I told you earlier, you can have so many connectors to Claude, and I have a lot of connectors. So it's always important you give it context. So I said, use vidIQ to find 3 YouTube channels that are direct competitors to my channel. That is my channel's name right there. And I said, my channel teaches AI tools, Canva, and no-code automation to marketers, small business owners. For each competitor it finds, it should tell me their subscriber count, their 30-day growth, and their top 3 videos. If you had to do this all by yourself, trust me, it would have been very difficult. Then answer one question. What topic are none of them covering that my audience would benefit from? So with just this singular prompt, let's see what Claude can actually output. And by the way, if I was to do this, or if you were to do this traditionally, this would take you quite a lot of hours to do. But let's see how much time Claude will actually take to get this done. All right. So there we have it. As you can see, it is using the vidIQ connector that we actually have. It's doing its thing. It's grabbing the top 3 videos for each of those channels. All right. Mm-hmm. All right. So there we have it. It is actually done with the competitor research. All right. And so let's go down. So the very first competitor it has, based on my niche, or based on the niche I provided, is designed with May. And then her niche is Canva and AI tools for techie business owners. And then she has 14,900 subscribers. And within the last 30 days, she has gained 900 subscribers. That's pretty amazing, which is actually 6.4%. All right. And she has actually published within the last 30 days 5 videos. You understand? So all this, you see it as easy information, but trust me, if you were to do this on your own, damn man, that would have been time consuming. So this is the power of vidIQ and Claude connected together. And I never had to leave this dashboard to go into my vidIQ account. So the second competitor, it has also given the same useful information that is quite useful, and it has given the third competitor as well. All right, so this is just to show you what you can actually do with Claude and vidIQ connected together. All right, so the very first thing you can do is competitor intelligence or competitor research. So now that we have that out of the way, let us dive in to see what you can actually do again aside the competitor research. Hello guys, if you're really enjoying the video so far, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as this really encourages me to do more. The whole goal I have is to actually not just come in and brush over things, but then to make sure that I don't waste your time by giving you my possible best to make sure you understand every single detail. All right. Now, if you're a YouTuber and you want to grow your channel, what I recommend for you today is vidIQ. vidIQ helps over 25 million plus content creators like yourself with keyword ideation, keyword research, competitor research, and so much more. And so if you don't have vidIQ and you would want to sign up to vidIQ today, you can simply go to vidiq.com/intim. NTIM. So vidiq.com/intim. And for those of you watching on TV, you can simply scan the QR code on the screen to simply sign up to vidIQ. Trust me, it's a must-have tool if you really intend to grow your channel or if you really treat this as a serious side hustle. Without my saying, let's continue the video. So the second thing you can actually do with this connection is what we call channel growth diagnosis. I personally had this issue, all right? And recently I started using vidIQ. I've been able to better understand my channel and to make steady improvements. So without wasting your time, let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to paste in this prompt, and the prompt reads, use vidIQ to pull the full stats for my YouTube channel. Here is my context. It is always very important to give good enough context. I started the channel in October 2024. I post about AI tools, Canva tutorials, and no-code automation. My target audience is marketers and small business owners. My goal is to actually hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2026. Guys, please subscribe. My biggest challenge right now is consistency. I have only posted 10 videos in 18 months. Based on the data and my context, give me. Now, this is where I'm asking Claude for a solution. So give me one honest reason my channel is not growing faster, which of my 10 videos performed best, and why you think it worked. There's always a reason why something works, right? And why you think it worked. My next 3 video topics based on what has already resonated, one thing I should start doing, one thing I should stop, and one thing I should do more of. So with this context, let's just see what Claude can actually give us, because it actually has access to my data from vidIQ. All right, so it's loading. Let's give it a second. Doing the magic. And always, like I say, if you wanted to do this manually or old school, it would take you dozens of hours. It says it has everything it needs now, just within some few seconds. So it's going to build the full analysis. It's working. I just want you guys to appreciate how much time is going to take to do this, so you can appreciate the value and the time you actually save. So I'm going to leave it running so it does its own things. Okay, so it has come up with all the stats, and indeed I have 34 subscribers. Yeah, and like you can see, I have 1,523 views since October 2024, and I have 10 published videos. And it's giving me the honest reason why my channel is actually not doing that well. I just want you guys to appreciate what it's doing so you know how much time you are saving. If I were some other content creators, I could have posted and just showed you the results. But I need you to appreciate, trust the process. And so here we have it. So Claude has fully built a dashboard to make me understand the data visually. And so as you can see, I have 34 subscribers, 1,523 views since October 2024, and I've published 10 videos. And like I always say, please keep it honest. Be honest with yourself, all right? Now, this is the growth trajectory. As you can see, I never grew, or I never really grew until recently when I started using VidIQ. Then my channel started seeing some steady growth. So you have all the data here. And then it's explaining why I'm not growing. All right, it says YouTube's algorithm rewards channels that publish consistently. So that is the key. That is the key, or that is the solution I'm missing. At your current pace, there are long gaps where the algorithm has nothing new to surface. Yeah, I take it. I'm to be blamed. And so that's it. Then over here, these are my 10 videos by category. So you can see SEO, you can see tools, you can see Canva, you can see automation, you can see AI. Okay, let's go down. Yeah, so start, stop, do more of this. So it has broken it down what I should start, okay, batch filming, what I should stop doing, and then what I need to do more of. It has given me all this information, and then here's the full breakdown based on vidIQ. So basically, you get the understanding. All I have to do is just tell or prompt Claude, and it has really given me some useful insight and some practical advice, which I honestly will go by. But don't forget to like. Now let us move on to the last thing, or the last most important thing I believe you can do with this connection. So the last thing you can actually do with this Claude vidIQ connection that I really like is what we call keyword-based content planning. So we can actually make a whole content calendar based off our pillars and based off the data within our vidIQ. So let me just show you what I mean quickly, then we wrap up the video. So now that it has all this data, I could simply tell it, based off this data, make a content plan for all relevant pillars. I need free, unique, data backed content idea for each. Now, I've given it some prompt it already has context because we started with the other ones, and so it fully understands what we're doing. And so the moment I prompted it, like you can see, I never mentioned vidIQ. Now it has a memory, so it starts using vidIQ automatically, even without me referencing vidIQ. So we need to allow it here. Like I said, I don't like to pause it because I need you guys to appreciate the speed and the time you actually save. Okay, it says it has everything it needs. It's building the full plan. Okay, and there you have it. So based off all the pillars that I post on, it has given me exactly what I asked for. So you can see the first pillar is SEO, and it has given me the ideas for contents I need to make. Okay, for SEO, great ideas. Now it's giving me for the second pillar, and it will also give me for the third pillar. So that's it, guys. So what you can actually do with Claude connected to vidIQ is actually me mind blowing and actually super amazing. I'm actually super happy about this, and I can't wait to see you guys try it out. So once again, my name is Intim. See you in the next one.